Have you ever thought about moving to Camano Island? Because if so, this video is for you. Today, I'm talking all about the pros and cons of living on Camano Island. Hi, I'm Laura Randall with RE/MAX Elevate, serving North Snohomish County and Camano Island. I talk about buying and selling real estate and all things home. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Today, I'm talking all about the pros and cons of living on Camano Island. And to be 100% transparent here, I have lived on Camano Island most of my life. And I had a hard time coming up with cons, but I did come up with a few. So we're gonna start there today. And these are in no particular order. The first con is travel time to conveniences. So on Camano Island, there is one bigger grocery store, it's an IGA, and then also a hardware store in that same complex. And besides that, there's a couple small mom and pop grocery stores. If you want to go to a bigger store in Stanwood, there's a QFC and a Hagen. It takes, depending on where on the island, if you're on the north end of the island, you can get there in about 15 minutes. From the south end of the island, you're going to be driving at least a half an hour to get to those stores. And if you want to go to something bigger like a Costco, Target, those you're going to have to drive to Smoky Point or the Burlington area, and that's going to be at least 30 minutes from the north end of the island and closer to an hour if you are further south. The second con is healthcare. So there are not hospitals on Camano Island or in Stanwood. So if there's an emergency, the closest emergency room is going to be in Arlington or Mount Vernon. However, we do have a great fire department who comes in case of an emergency. They're very quick to respond and can be there to aid when needed. There is one clinic on Camano Island at Skagit Regional Clinics. It's a full-service family medicine practice. The last con I have for you today is the traffic. There is one road on and off Camano Island, and sometimes that can cause a little bit of congestion and make traffic slower. Typically, traffic gets pretty congested and slowed down twice per day. And oftentimes, this isn't a big deal. You just plan for it and it takes a little bit more time. Every once in a while, there is an accident on the one road going on and off the island, and then traffic gets really backed up and you can plan on waiting anywhere from a half hour to an hour just to get your way off the island. The first pro I have for you is that drive over the bridge onto the island. And I know this sounds really corny, but if you live on Camano Island, you know just what I mean. There's something about when you've been off island, busy doing things all day, and just that drive onto the island, you see the beautiful views, and it's just like a breath of fresh air. You can relax a little, take a deep breath, and you know you're home. The second pro is the weather. Now, Camano Island is in something called the Banana Belt. But what this means is it is kind of like the Sun Belt of Western Washington. And what does that mean? It means that this area receives half the amount of annual rainfall as all the surrounding areas. Another pro of living on Camano is it's a very safe place to live. I have this stat here from, let's see, it's the Neighborhood Scouts analysis of FBI crime statistics. So they said Camano Island is safer than 77% of cities and towns in the US of all population sizes. In Washington state, there's only 8% of other cities that have a better crime rate than Camano Island. So it's a pretty safe place to live. The fourth pro is Camano Island's great sense of community. It's kind of like one of those areas where everybody knows your name, but it's really fun to head to the farmer's market or Camano Commons and just run into people you know. Camano has a great sense of community and there's lots of community events. I can't think of a month that goes by where there's not an event that you can attend or be involved in. The last pro I have for you today is outdoor activities. Camano Island is chock full of things to do outside. We have two state parks, Kama Beach State Park and Camano Island State Park. There's a great spot to launch your boat at the state park. There are also many other beaches and parks that you can visit. There's Iverson Spit Preserve, Barnum Point, and the county park. along with miles and miles of trails all over the island. Or there's a company called Boats Afloat, and they do water tours around Camano Island. So with its beautiful beaches, easy hikes, fun activities, a small food scene, and beautiful scenery, you can't go wrong with Camano Island. I hope these pros and cons were helpful to you. And if you're familiar with Camano, I would love it if you would comment below and tell me some of your favorite things about Camano Island. Or maybe you can think of a con that I couldn't think of. Thanks for taking the time to watch this today, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and maybe even ding that bell, and you'll get notifications every week when a new video is uploaded. Thanks for taking the time to listen today. I'll see you next week.